I do realize these have no editing or blah blah blah. I'm gonna keep recording these and posting these until I can actually, what should I say, get the what's the word, I don't know, get my wits about me. And I know, you know, stay hard, I should just have my wits about me already, but priorities. YouTube is not my number one top priority, but I was into actually start editing videos and planning videos in advance, because that is indeed a challenge. But just some things I've been thinking about, some of the things I said in the part 1 and 2 video. I haven't posted the part 2 yet. I wanted to clarify. So the get hard and stay hard, I feel like that does have sexual connotations, but like that's not the way I'm thinking about it or using it. Like get hard and stay hard in terms of like, because when I did the 75 hard and people do that, it's kind of like, okay, this is a hard period that I'm going to go through, but telling yourself but get hard and stay hard, like the way David Goggins sees it, it's like you're not doing 75 hard, you're doing life hard. You're just going to continue with it forever. And I don't mean, for example, like the particular 75 hard challenge, continue with it forever. In terms of whatever it is that you think is challenging for you, that makes you better, you should continue it. Like, why should you have a period where you just stop and be like, okay, I'm done with being the best I can be now, I just want to be okay? That's what I mean by get hard and stay hard. And I was just thinking about, like, I was reading some of the posts on Reddit, and someone was talking about how, like, you know, when they were going for a run, they had a stitch, they wanted to stop, and they keep going. It's kind of like keep going and don't give in to weakness. But again, different people have different priorities, so don't sacrifice a lower level priority for a top priority, in terms of, you know, this whole staying hard and getting hard. So for example, so someone mentioned, you know, they're fasting, like in one of the red, like, you know, I'm fasting my Ramadan, but I'm still going to get my training in. Good. I don't want to see someone saying, oh, you know, I'm just not going to like fast because, like, you know, I stayed up late trying to, I don't know, finish whatever book it is. Like, make sure your priorities are still in order, and ideally obviously tick all the boxes. But if you had to sacrifice any and not give, because not giving into weakness is realizing your limits, and when you know your limits, that's the whole point of, you know, challenge yourself and pushing yourself, so you actually figure out where your limits are. No one's saying human beings are limitless and you can like fly and whatever it is. When you know where your limits are, then you know where you are. So what he was saying about like people not tapping into 100% of themselves, like they're only tapping into 25%, it doesn't mean that they are 100% of themselves as like some magical alien being creature. Once you actually reach there, you'd know. Again, obviously you and yourself would know that. So it's not pushing yourself past your limit and like, I don't know, breaking, what's an example, horrible example I can give, like falling off a cliff because, you know, you said you're gonna run 5 miles, but like that's only 4.9 miles and you have to keep running, kind of thing. Like, it's kind of like you push yourself until you reach your limit, and then you can be like, okay. And then, to be fair, by the time you push yourself to your limit, you'll already be pretty great already, and working towards being a muhsin and achieving ihsan. So, and being on that road and seeing like what you can keep doing, because like what he says, which I find so amazing, is kind of like there is no end. Keep challenging and pushing yourself until you tap into everything that you can be. And even then, there's still going to be room for, I'm not saying, you know, go more than 100%. Who knows? To be honest, I'm not there, so I can't even tell you. But I think the way, from what I understand, from the way he talks about it, it's kind of like past, once you reach that point, like, I feel like you start to work with yourself differently in a way that you're still maximizing what you can do. And when I say maximizing, not in terms of productivity, I mean in terms of trying to get you further and better towards your goals, whatever that might be. So what's a concrete example? You know how people talk about like 10xing your goal. When you think of I don't know, money is the example people usually use, but let's not use money. How do you 10x? What can you 10x? Okay, memorizing the Quran. When you think of, you know, I don't want to just memorize 1 page a day, I want to memorize 10 pages a day. When you 10x your goal, it makes you like really think about the approach you were going to do. So maybe for 1 page you were thinking, okay, I'm going to do like 1 line, but to be able to actually do 10, you have to like rethink everything, because like to be able to achieve 10 times your goal, it makes you think about the problem in a different way that allows you to be able to like maximize what you're doing. So that's like the whole TEDx goal thing from, I forgot what his name was. I know he always said PhD in the beginning of his name. Oh, I can see his face in my head. I don't remember. But like if we apply that with the whole, you know, trying to achieve 100% of your soul, tap into your potential and everything that you can be, by the time you reach that point of, by the time when you're aiming for that, like that is kind of like, it's not 10x, but like magnifying your goal of what you want to achieve. It allows you to think about ways of achieving that in ways that, you know, you wouldn't have thought of before when you were at like a lower level of tapping into yourself. And so, you know, I was gonna say, so like that just, I don't know, that excites me. I feel like something that doesn't, because I get bored of things. So if I think about something that it would just keep going, that gives me solace, and like just not, I don't know, being weak is not the right word to use. Being complacent, being lazy, and like mentally lazy, because like, which is what he keeps saying, you know your limit, you know that you can, obviously within yourself, whatever it is, barrier that you feel like you reach, like you know you can, and so you should. And what he was saying about the whole example of like he's had knee surgery but he still keeps running and keeps limping, he was like, the reason he does it, or he's able to keep doing it, and he is doing it, is because that his body knows that it's not the end. As in, he will stop running when he literally cannot run anymore, as in when his body is not able to run. So the fact that he clearly is still running, which means that he can run regardless of what the surgeon said about his knee. Yeah, so when you actually can't, when you actually cannot, you will not be able to. It just, I was gonna say, that's just like logic. If you cannot do something, you will not be able to do it. It's like someone saying, I can't stand up. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So the fact that you're able to do it shows that you can do it. It's kind of like, yeah, you're making the decision not to. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so the first one was get hard, stay hard. What does that mean? Pushing yourself to your limit. The other thing I wanted to clarify is kind of like, I don't want to say it means you have to. It doesn't mean you have to, but you should be honest with yourself that you are choosing not to. So let's say, for example, so like last night, I wanted to do my evening adhkar, my supplications, but then I also didn't get to do the work that I wanted to do, whatever it is. I was quite tired, and I said to myself, and I acknowledged it, like, yes, even as tired as I am, I could still choose to do this, but I'm choosing not to, because I want to sleep. It doesn't mean, again, obviously different people working towards different goals. I feel like one of the most important things that he kept saying is being honest with yourself. And so, you know, for example, when you don't make the whatever it is you're trying to make, or you don't achieve the thing you wanted to do, like, be honest with the decisions that you made that got you there. And which is why, again, he keeps reinforcing he doesn't feel sorry for people. So I'm owning, what's the word? I do this whole what's the word thing all the time. But like, you need to be honest with yourself and acknowledge the decisions that you made that got you to where you are. And I was like, yes, you know, I didn't do the physiotherapy exercise I was supposed to. I didn't even look at it. I wanted to finish my MB's applications, but as just lay down on that bed, I know I could turn around and do it and do that. I chose not to. So like, you need to take accountability. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Take accountability for the decisions that you make. Yeah, so I guess that's two clarification / lessons. So number one is, what does get hard and stay hard mean, and what should I say? Re-clarifying possible sexual connotations of that. And then number two was, I guess we talked about kind of like the 10x thing and what it means towards chasing that limit, and what happens when you do realize what that limit is. Because think about it, we're such multifaceted creatures as human beings. I don't see anyone reaching 100% in everything, like all facets of life, and you've like figured out how to, again, you know, on this journey of life, let's see. But I feel like there's always going to be something to work on. And yeah, so I don't feel like you'll ever finish. And that's the whole, you know, like eudaimonia and working towards ihsan, like until we die. Working towards becoming better and being the best we can be. And again, obviously this is like along with your priorities. Don't stop like fasting during Ramadan because you're trying to do your I don't know, water goal or whatever goal it is. Like, make sure as you're you know, trying to achieve 100%, what you're prioritizing is prioritized. So don't start trying to, actually, to be honest, I'll just let people choose whatever their priorities are. And then the other thing I talked about was the final thing I talked about, which I just talked about now. Remember, Farida? Well, I hope this actually helps someone in what they're thinking about. I helped one person once, and the person actually like watched my video and like messaged me. This was back on thingy days, Discord days. Sorry, the third point, Farida, is this is ridiculous. Why can't I remember the last point I made? Okay, just think, actually think. The next new goal, maximizing it. Oh yes, being honest with yourself and acknowledging when you're making decision not to push yourself to what you know you can do. Acknowledge that. Like, I can push myself and do this, but I'm choosing not to for whatever reason. Maybe that reason is valid, maybe that reason is invalid, but acknowledge that to yourself. Because like, it's when you lie to yourself that you start to have all this weirdness. But yeah, cool. Keep fighting your demons and have a lovely rest of your day. Stay.